Hi, my name is Jerome Bell, and welcome to Do Think, where thinkers are free to think. In this episode, I want to talk about why free will exists. I don't want to go into a long argument, philosophical argument as to why free will exists. I just want to show people how you can experience free will, and then you know it exists. First, we need to find some terms. What is free will? First of all, what is your will? Your will is your rational desire. It is your desire for something that's rationally possible. For example, it doesn't make sense to say, I desire to be rich and poor at the same time. You haven't made up your mind yet, you're double-minded. So your will is your rational desire. Free will is your influence to have reality align with your will. So how do you exercise free will? Is through the law of consistency. The law of consistency says that all of reality moves towards consistency. So when you create an imbalance, the law of consistency will cause reality to be remolded, reshaped, so that balance is restored. So when you have certain beliefs, for example, believing that you can achieve your goal, well, that belief is real. And that belief is now inconsistent with reality because you have not achieved that goal. So the law of consistency is put into action to restore balance. And thus you will experience doors being open, meeting the right people, hearing the right things, so that basically you can have your goal accomplished. Therefore, balance has been restored. So the law of consistency will always bring all of reality into a state of consistency. So this is actually how you exercise free will, is by being aware of the fact that the law of consistency is always at work. So in the same way that we respect the laws of gravity or electricity to build technology, we use the law of consistency to build a happy life. Bear in mind that the law of electricity and gravity were always at work before we even knew they existed or before we even knew how they worked. It's the same with the law of consistency. This might be new to some people. It doesn't mean it hasn't always been at work. Here is the key point. When you realize that the law of consistency has always been at work and is currently at work, then you know that you can either be consistently happy or you can be consistently miserable. And when you realize that, because either way, it's the law of consistency that's making the happiness or the misery sustainable, that's when you realize you have a choice. And that's when you realize you have a free will. And that's when you can start to exercise free will in your favor. So how do you create happiness? Your thoughts need to change and align with your will. So if previous thoughts were, I can't achieve my goals, your thoughts need to change to align and say, I can achieve my goals. Call it plain and simple optimism. There must be a change in your thinking. Even if previous thinking was good. If your previous thinking was, I will get better, then that needs to change to be, I will be the best. If it was previously, I will be the best, it needs to change to be, I will exceed my goals. The change in thinking causes an imbalance in reality, and the law of consistency goes into action to restore that balance and fulfill or execute your will as reflected by your thoughts. Because the law of consistency governs over all reality, and your thinking is real, and your experience is real, and the law of consistency governs over both and will make both consistent. So happiness is experienced during that transformation, during the growth, during the maturity, during the progress. And that's why comfort zones are so dangerous, because there's no growth, there's no change. The law of consistency is not an action, but rather the law of contradiction. Now, what is the law of contradiction? It is simply the absence of the law of consistency. The law of contradiction states that in the absence of the law of consistency, when it's not an action, reality will undo itself towards a self-destruction all the way into nothingness. So do not try to think about the law of consistency for too long, because by its nature, it will cause you to have self-destructive thoughts. The only thing we need to know about the law of contradiction is that your body, by default, is governed by the law of contradiction. This is why whenever you try to push forward and do hard work to achieve your goal, your body produces a desire or chemical to be lazy. Whenever you try to change your thinking to think differently about something or someone, your body produces a desire or chemical to be stubborn and hold on to those old beliefs, which are self-destructive. Now, this is highly controversial, but I actually disagree with mainstream psychology and their analysis saying that people who are classified as mentally ill are chemically imbalanced. I actually think the problem is that they are chemically balanced. Lack of growth, lack of maturity, lack of progress, lack of respect of a law of consistency. Those who are mentally healthy, who experience happiness, I believe they are chemically imbalanced. Their brain is constantly going through change and metamorphosis because there's a change in thought, which causes the law of consistency to go into action, which changes their experience, which changes their reality. It changes their brain chemistry. And as you experience that change of brain chemistry, that's what happiness is. Happiness is the experience of a change in brain chemistry. And you induce that change by changing the way you think to align with your will. So that's how you know free will exists. You know it exists by experiencing it. Now, almost every single time I share this with people, the response is pretty much the same. I agree with you to a degree. Now, here's my one question. Is it possible? Is it possible that to the degree that you believe in this paradigm is the degree to which you experience self-consistency? The degree to which you experience happiness? The degree to which you experience the fulfillment of your will? But that's what I think. What do you think? Have you had experiences that make you think that free will is or is not real? Please share it in the comments below. If you like this video, click like, and if you want to keep thinking, subscribe. Until next time, do think.